mile an hour. Hey, this is Mike with Riding in the Ozarks, and today I'm riding a 2019 FTR 1200. So yeah, I got some friends with me. One of my friends is on this DR right here beside me. That's the owner of this FTR. We were friends in high school, and he saw my videos on YouTube and didn't realize who it was, and he kept saying, I know this guy. And he reached out to me after he figured out who it was, and we went to high school together, and he's like, hey, do you really want to ride an FTR 1200? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, I've got one, I'll let you ride. So I'll bring it down and let you do a demo ride like a dealer would not. So that's what we're doing today. That's Scott, and I really appreciate him bringing me the FTR 1200 to let me ride. We haven't seen each other in over 20 years till today. We've talked a little bit the last couple weeks or months trying to get a schedule worked out for this. And so I appreciate that. That's awesome, man. Somebody just, you know, reaching out to you like that and letting you ride the bike. But so I have literally been on this thing for like 2 minutes. That's it. He gave me the once over on the controls, and here we go. Now yesterday I got to ride the Pan America 1250. So I'm not going to try and compare this bike to that, and really, but I want to, you know, I may say, oh, this is different or similar, or you know, kind of stuff like that. I may do a full comparison video later. I'm rolling along in 4th gear. This thing's got modes for the analog speedometer. Good roll there. I don't know if you guys can see the speedometer much in the camera because it's pretty low. I mean, I kind of got to look down for it. It's not out in front of me. I'm used to it being more out here, and it's down here. So I feel like I'm setting up over the tank and closer to the display cluster. But it's not uncomfortable. I mean, the foot peg's set a little further back than I'm used to, but the Pan America was the same kind of riding position, and it is comfortable. It feels good. This thing has 123 horsepower, I think, and around 85 foot-pounds of torque. There's 90 mile an hour. Bring that back down here. And that was easy to do. Now this thing feels nimble. Yeah, it turns good. You know, it's very, a little over 500 pounds wet. It's a nice ride, good comfortable position. This bike is based off Indian's flat track racing motorcycle. That's a 750cc, but this is a 1200. And I'm rolling along in 4th gear, and it feels like it just wants to go. I mean, it just wants to run. We'll go up to 5th. There is 6th. And 6th gear is too high for this thing, for sure. You can tell the RPMs are down. So at 60 mile an hour, that's 5th gear. You probably don't want to be in 6th unless you're on the interstate. It feels to me like, at least where you want to have it, like it's in its power band and it can really get out and run. This bike really, you know, you just tell it's itching at 60 mile an hour in 5th gear to pull. Fifth gear, 55 mile an hour. There's 100. Woo! That is fun, man. I know I don't talk enough when I do these because I really want to focus on my riding. When I'm getting in a bike like that, it's hard for me to, you know, I concentrate on what I'm doing and I don't talk, but man, that thing really pulls all the way to 100 mile an hour. Now Scott did say this bike was electronically limited at I think 120 mile an hour. We're going to pull off down here and let everybody kind of catch up and regroup because some of those are on one long DR 650s, and April's back there, Firecracker's back there on the DR 200. Jordan popping wheelies on the BMW Cross. I got a little 2nd gear action out of the front end. I got on this thing back there and it pulled the front wheel going into 2nd. Scott warned me that it'll, even at 50 mile an hour, if you really get into it, it can take the front end off the ground. So we're gonna go up here and hit another road and take this thing down on some rougher terrain, see how the suspension feels, and hit some gravel and ride it on a little bit of gravel. Kind of put it through its paces and see how it does. Woo! Wow! That was not dumping the clutch, that was just goosing it. Man, yeah. Now, I didn't get to do that and see if the Pan America would do that, because that was a guided demo ride and they don't let us do that kind of stuff. But that was fucking nice. Well, this is a little rougher road. We'll get a little feel how it does on the suspension, but I mean, you could feel the bumps, but it's not jarring. The suspension feels pretty good. It's definitely a fun bike, and man, that thing's got some serious shit and get there. Like I said, you just lay into it and it'll bring the front end up. I'm not used to that kind of motorcycle riding. I'm gonna have to get a little more practice at popping wheelies before I do that too much. All right, so now we're gonna get some gravel road treatment here. And feels pretty good on the, this is kind of a packed dirt with some gravel on top, but it feels capable. I mean, I'm rolling along at 20-30 mile an hour and this stuff, and it, you know, here's a car and I can get right on the brakes and I don't feel like it's going to slide out or anything. It feels very capable in this you know, gravel road, hard packed dirt road kind of surfaces. It's it doesn't make me feel nervous or squirrely at all. I'm really kind of surprised for a more of a street style bike that it feels this good off road on, you know, a hard packed dirt road with a loose gravel laying on top of it. I don't feel like it's trying to jump around and find a track. It really kind of just rolls right over the top of everything really well. I'm pretty impressed. I've never taken a bike like this off onto a gravel surface before, so really wasn't sure what to expect. I mean, I've rode dual sports, and this isn't a dual sport by no means, so I didn't know how it would respond and, you know, what it's like, but it feels good. Even on the gravel, I'm not afraid to lean the bike and, you know, put it over. I mean, you know, if you live down a dirt road but you want a mean machine street bike, this is a good option. You know, I mean, I know some people who live down gravel or dirt and they feel like they can't keep a street bike because it's just, you know, doesn't feel safe riding up and down the gravel all the time and stuff. And this bike feels capable. It feels very capable in this kind of terrain. Now, obviously, this isn't a dirt bike. We're not going to get off the road with it. It doesn't have those kind of tires on it either. I mean, it might have a little more aggressive tread than a normal street bike, and that's probably why it performs so well here on this kind of surface. But it'll get a little kick out. I mean, we're doing 35-40 mile an hour on a dirt road, and it feels good. It feels like I still feel confident on this bike. I don't feel like I'm getting myself in trouble. I have to say, I really like this bike. The only thing so far I feel a little uncomfortable with is I have to look down to see the speedometer. It's not in my peripheral vision when I'm looking out, really. I know it's there when I'm looking like this, but I can't read it. I can't really see it without tilting my head down. But otherwise, I mean, if they put the speedometer maybe in front of the fork bracket, that would probably help, and I think would, you know, make reading the display a lot easier, but it probably would hurt the aesthetics as well, though. People would complain it's ugly having it sitting out there, but you know, so far that is the only thing I have found to complain about with this FTR 1200, and that's not really a complaint, but it's just different. You know, I try and be really honest and fair in these rides and give my first impressions, and if there's something I don't like, I try to make sure I share that with you guys. It's not a big deal by no means, but it is something I've noticed that I have to look down to tell where I'm at on the speedometer or anything else. Yeah, it climbs, man. It climbs right away, and I didn't even rack it hard. All right, now we're going to get a little bit more of a twisty experience. So I'm going to get into this turn a little bit. out of that 30 mile an hour recommended turn at 60 mile an hour. This thing just lays right down in there, feels good. Never once felt like it was hard to keep it on track. Corners really well. But this is based on a flat track motorcycle. I mean, what do you expect? Whee! Making sure we haven't lost firecracker back there. Checking my mirrors. Yeah, first gear, this thing's kind of a wheelie machine. I've not really rode anything quite like this before, so. Woo. That's a shitting and getting, motherfucker. Man, I'm having so much fun doing these first rides. And it's really awesome to have somebody, an individual, who'll let you take their bike out and roll it up to 100 mile an hour, you know, or whatever we're doing on this closed course in Mexico. Okay, that was fourth gear, 100 mile an hour. And you know, I probably should have shifted to fifth, but I think that was fast enough. You get the idea. This thing is no slouch by no means. Really, really fun to, you know, get into the gas there. Wow. I think Indian made a great motorcycle here. I said that I was interested in something like this as a commuter to work, or maybe the Trident 660, and I'd still love to ride the 660. I know it's not going to have the same performance as this, but it also doesn't have the same price tag. This is a $15,000, $16,000 motorcycle, I think, and maybe at 14 something. But the depending on what model, they make an S, they make a Carbon, they make a Rally, but it's in that price range there. And the Trident 660 is $8,000, so you know, you get what you pay for to some degree also. But and that's okay, you know. I mean, you'll get less bike for less money, but boy, this thing is fun. Oh man, if you want something you can do some wheelies on, take down a gravel road, get out in the twisties, this is a fun motorcycle. Wow. I think Indian really did a nice job on this bike, and it's pretty comfortable. I mean, I've been on it for a little while now, and I'm starting to feel really comfortable on it. It's got that pull. Yeah, I'd get in trouble on this motorcycle. Maybe I should look at the Trident 660, because I'd be getting myself in trouble on this bike all the time the way I want to ride it. I would be constantly out here in the twisties, nailing it, wearing tires out, running through the gears, putting this thing through the test, like every day, like it's a new test ride. Wow, wow, wow. Well, you know, I like this motorcycle. That's all I can tell you guys. That's fun. I really like it. The Pan American was a great motorcycle too. I'm used to my bagger, and you know, I have people who say, well, you don't know what fast is because you ride a big Harley. And no, it's not this kind of fast, but that bike is a touring bike. It's not designed for the same kind of riding. I have fun on my Harley. I love my Harley. I'm not replacing my Harley. That's my tour bike. That's my big bike to go on trips with and everything else, for riding two up, for comfort. But man, if you're looking for something to go out and rip and ride through the twisties and stuff, I think this bike is awesome. I really like it. Now I've run off and left the rest of the crew, so I might as well, you know, roll through some of these turns a little bit. Oh wait, we got a stop sign. We'll bring her back down in here and let everybody catch up. Here comes Jordan. Neutral is easy to find too. I've had no problems finding neutral. Some people have struggles with that on some motorcycles. I only accelerated like that because I didn't want to get ran over by the car. Woo! Feel like Ric Flair, man. All I want to do is go, woo! Woo! Alright, well, we're all going to go get some grub and hang out and visit a little bit. So, I think this is the end of the first ride video. But I hope you guys had fun hanging out with me for the first ride on an Indian 1200 FTR. This thing is awesome. It's a fun bike. I gotta say, I think Indian did a great job with it. You know, I ride a Harley. I ride a Suzuki DR650. I love motorcycles. I rode the Honda Rebel. They're all fun bikes, and I recommend anybody who's looking for a bike, you know, to go out and ride a couple and pick the bike that fits you, that you like the best, whether it's because of budget and it's, you know, in your budget, or because it's the most comfortable, or if you're into power, then because you think it's the most powerful and has the best handling. But those things are, a lot of those are subjective, the styling. So I compare bikes sometimes and stuff, but you got to remember, some of this is just for fun to kind of see how stuff stacks up. But in the end, get out and enjoy life, ride, find a motorcycle that suits you, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks is the best. Just have fun. You can have fun on a little dirt bike. You can have fun on a $15,000 curve cutter like this. You can have fun on a big fat touring bike that's slow. It don't matter. It's about enjoying life. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you do that YouTube thing, check out the content on my channel. And if you dig it, don't forget to subscribe down below. Ring that bell to be notified the next time I drop a new video. And as always, thank you for support. Stay safe and keep on riding.